Hi, this is iAllegedly. I am Dan. Welcome back. I've got a good one for you today because Hollywood is broken, guys. It's done. I can fix it as well. Got the magic potion. I've got the solution, the elixir that will solve this problem. Please hit the like button, subscribe to this channel, and let's get right into it. There has been a problem with political correctness in films and in Hollywood for, let's say, a decade. And it's gotten worse and worse and worse. And what this has done is it's made it so that if you are not watching a superhero movie, there's nothing creative, there's nothing new. It's remake after remake after remake. But the final straw is what they've just done to James Bond. Now, as a guy's guy, I love James Bond. James Bond, is dashing. He wears great clothes. He's a womanizer. He drinks. He smoked a little bit in the 60s and 70s and was just the king of cool, man. He was it. Now, what's happened recently is James Bond was purchased by the Amazon company, that Amazon. And what they've done is they've completely ruined it for a few things, in a few ways. And the first one was they have changed the posters to where there are no more firearms in the posters. Okay? So James Bond is sitting there holding his hand, like this, and there's no gun in there. Okay? Sorry, he's a secret agent. Okay? A British spy. He was probably one of the only people in Britain that could carry a gun. Okay, 007, man, he was it. Now, so that's the first thing. All the posters get stripped of that. Now, the second thing, and I am not making this up, is that, it was either Tubi or Pluto used to have the James Bond channel, and it was literally 24 hours a day of James Bond movies that you could watch. And the thing about this was there's 25 James Bond movies out there, and it was great. You could just flip it on and you'd say, oh wow, this is Dr. No. Oh wow, this is Man with the Golden Gun. This is Moonraker. You got them all. Okay, it was very cool, fantastic and entertaining. Well, what Amazon has done is they've put warning labels on each of these movies now. So before the movie starts, please be aware that this movie contains smoking, drinking, and some of them even say the word womanizing. Now, my favorite thing was one of them says that there's nudity. There's never been nudity in a James Bond movie. Now, if you're talking about, Goldfinger, where the chick's laying there painted in gold, that's not naked, guys. That's just a woman laying there upside down, covered in paint, okay, gold paint. But the point is that they put warning labels on James Bond movies. Hello, okay? This is the pussification of men. This is making men weak. The last James Bond movie was terrible because they killed James Bond at the end. And right now they are looking for a new James Bond. And the choices are a bunch of quimby little guys that are not tough, that are not anybody that you would fear. They are somebody that you would push out of the way in a bar to get past the woman, to get to the woman that he was too nervous to talk to. Okay, let's put it that way. So this needs to stop. It needs to end. Think about this, guys. There are no more R-rated comedies right now. There's no more fun. There's no more debauchery. There's no more old school. There's no more road trip. There's no more movies like this. But there's remake after remake after remake. I'm telling you guys, if they could remake The Godfather, if Francis Ford Coppola was dead, they would do that, but it would be horrific. Okay? And Michael wouldn't be a tough guy. He wouldn't be, the baddest man alive. Michael Corleone, that is. He would be, a woman. He'd be a pussification, of a man. Okay? And with that being said, it's terrible. They would remake Rocky. They're trying to remake Rambo right now. Okay? And it's ridiculous, guys. It's utterly ridiculous. Stop this. Bring back men. Bring back men. Okay? Now, what this has done is it's creeped into society. Call it wokeness. Call it pussification. It's ridiculous, guys. It is utterly ridiculous. But James Bond, to have warning labels on James Bond is an insult, is absolutely insulting. But this is what they're going to do. They're going to ruin this film franchise. Get ready. It's done. Okay? Oh my God, you know in the 60s they smoked. Think about that. Everybody smoked. My mom smoked. My mom smoked in the car with the windows rolled up. And by the way, she died of cancer, guys. So, okay, it was a different time back then. Okay? Now, kids today, boys, are not men. They're women. They're basically wusses that go out there and worry about their nails and their hair and their feelings. Okay? We need to stop this, guys. It needs to end. But they ruined James Bond. They killed it. And they want to make it so that this guy is not going to be a womanizer? Come on. No. No. Now, I wanted to be a screenwriter really bad. And I sold some scripts. I optioned a script. I had a movie get made that, Jeff Bridges was in, called Scenes of the Crime. And I got paid good for that. Okay? Point is that this was a different time. When I wrote my first script, it was called The Derelicts. And it was about a guy who gets divorced and goes back, instead of pulling his life together and getting a job because he worked for his ex-wife's father, he decides he's going to have a summer of debauchery and hang out with his friends who have all settled down. Some have gotten married, some have kids, and it's just a summer of debauchery. Okay? There's nudity, there's cussing, there's fun hijinks and debauchery. That's what it was. Now, the movie got optioned, did not get sold, did not get made, but it was great. But it was frustrating because this was at the same times that Swingers came out. Remember the movie Swingers, which somebody brought to my attention? It was about 30 years ago, guys, when that came out. Anyways, a few things that I was told. I was told I was too old to be a screenwriter at the time, and I was 30 at the time. So there's that. Number two, Swingers came out, and it was the PG version of mine. I think it was an R-rated movie, but it was debauchery. Mine was debauchery. That was, Vanilla Ice Cream. So it's still a great movie. I love the movie. Now, I wrote my second script, and this was insane. This was called The Violent One. And I wrote this for the simple fact that I wanted to write something that would be so over the top that people would have to pay attention to it. And they did. Got optioned. It was great. But people could not make the movie because at the time in the 90s, they're like, wow, this will cost $100 to $200 million to make. Unless you were James Cameron, you weren't making movies for that. And the movie opens up with an FBI agent who is in trouble constantly and goes to a surveillance that he is not supposed to be at. In fact, he was told to stay away from it. Shows up anyways. And there is an arms merchant there. And the arms merchant, he infiltrates it. And there's a fight. A Stinger missile goes off inside of a restaurant, lights the place on fire. And this guy gets put to a disciplinary hearing within the first few minutes of this movie. And they're telling him in 8 days, you're going to be done. You're going to be done as a federal agent. But he's convinced of it this time. He's not getting out of this one. This one's too much trouble. So he decides to use the 8 days. 8 days, I'm going to go kill everybody who got away. Every single bad guy that skipped town. Now, this was pre-9/11. FBI agents, I got to talk to one. They could walk into an airline and they could say, listen, I'm a federal agent working on this case. I'd like to hop in this plane. Do you have any empty seats? Yes, we do. There you go, sir. Okay? So this guy could fly around the country and do things, and he wasted and took care of everybody bad. Okay? And he womanized, too. He met some chicks along the way. Okay? Anyways, the point is, that's dead. You understand? No. How are your feelings? Are you in touch with your feminine side? This guy wasn't. Anyways, Detective Kendrick was a good guy. I love this, okay? I love doing it. But it's a different world. The biggest compliment I ever had was a movie producer said, God, you have a real flair for violence. I'm thinking, oh, that's great. Maybe I should just put that on a business card. I have a flair for violence. The point is, you can't do that now. You understand? James Bond is a wuss. James Bond is a chick. James Bond should have a man bun. Okay? No. No, 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 no. But this creeps into dating. It creeps into life. You know, it's funny. Women my age, okay? Let's just say 50 plus, okay? Can't figure out why they can't get a good man. Because of the pussification of men. Because of how men have been shunned for being guys. I have a men's group that we get together once a month and go eat at a restaurant and talk politics and S, okay? And the word ends with a T, okay? And it's great. And it's guy stuff. It's fun. But people can't handle that right now. You know, I have, when my girlfriend passed away almost 3 years ago, one thing that I got from her was we had conversations about dating if something happened to one of us. Now, I didn't have stage 4 cancer like she did, so the likelihood that she would outlive me was kind of slim at the time. But I got her blessing to go out and date, and certain people I couldn't date, like her friends and stuff like that. She gave me a little ultimatum. Anyways, the point is that dating women, after I was with her for 12 years, I was shocked at how screwed up women were at that time. And how, what's your motive? Now, again, point is all men, their motive is the same thing. The motives are guys, you know? That's what we want to do. Want to have fun. Want to go out with women that want to have fun. And this has creeped into entertainment, and it has ruined Hollywood. It has made it so that if you're not making a superhero movie for kids and for weirdos, it's just that. And it's destroyed everything. You know, it's destroyed everything. You don't get this. A lot of people don't get this. They think that, oh God, you know, what you're saying is wrong. And, you know, we need good stories again. Yeah, we need more, you know, Jane Austen brought back. Okay? It's funny, guys. It's funny. Remakes suck. You know, they're remaking The Running Man right now. What a farce. What a joke. But they're going to destroy James Bond. Don't ever forget that. James Bond was the baddest man alive. Don't ever forget that. All the men that played him were men, real men, tough men. Sean Connery, still the best. And he's, you know, the OG of James Bond. And everybody knows it. And he's a bad MFer, okay? But all these other guys, all these women that they're suggesting right now, and that's the other thing. They were actually thinking, and you can tell that it's been sold. The Broccoli family, Cubby Broccoli, is the guy that originally produced the James Bond films. They were thinking of making James Bond a woman. Wouldn't that be great? Wouldn't that be politically correct? 007. She'll be fearless. Oh, F off. Okay? Come on. You know? But dating today, people are their own worst enemies. And I get a kick out of this because I had a friend, well, the girl I was dating at the time, her best friend was on a dating site, and a guy was interested in her, and he's like, hey, you like Italian food? Let me recommend a restaurant for you. And he's like, my favorite Italian restaurant is X. And this is in Phoenix, Arizona, so I don't remember the name of the restaurant. I don't even remember the borough or the city or anything it was. But she goes, oh, I've never been there. She was like, oh, it'll be great. It'll be a great place to talk and meet. I really love the restaurant. So she looks up the restaurant, and in the parking lot, big parking lot, there was a hotel also. She's like, oh my God, what is this guy's motive? And I'm like, your friend's not serious. If she has motive is dinner and to get to know her. No, she thinks that it's like something worse because there's a hotel in the parking lot. Oh my God, you know, I live in cities, guys, that have hotels, and I have never, ever done that. Never, like, oh my God, I'm going to take her. We're going to have pasta and antipasta. I'm going to maybe get some linguine and clams and then have sex with her. No one's ever done that. But this is what's wrong with the world. This is what's wrong with wokeness. This is what's wrong with men being men. Men just can't even take a girl out on a date anymore. Understand? So, good job, Amazon. You've destroyed it. You've destroyed James Bond. And be a man, guys. Be a man. Originality. That was the one thing that used to piss me off, is that remake after remake after remake is getting done right now. They get greenlit, and they can't figure out why Hollywood is dead. I have a friend of mine who's a good guy who he works for a news agency as a union tech guy, pulling cable, running cameras, cannot get a job to save his life right now because Hollywood is dead. It's so expensive with the unions to shoot anything, so let's make something that people are going to go to, like a superhero movie. Pass, guys, pass. You killed James Bond, literally killed James Bond, and for the rest of us that are men, you know what I mean? It's funny. I will never forget this. Something I learned. I was at a wedding once, and I saw a woman walk up to two men, and her name was Karen, which is kind of funny because she wasn't a Karen. She walks up to these two men and said, "Hey, how are you? My name's Karen. You guys look really interesting. I thought I'd introduce myself. And looking forward to today. It's nice to see." I forgot who was getting married. You know, Jess and Steve get married. Okay. And she had a good time hanging out with these people, meeting them. And I'll never forget, I was walking in my car that night. Now, she was much younger than I was, so it's not like I was interested in her. She was even paid attention to me. I'm not leading there. But I was walking out, and she was walking out by herself, and I'm thinking, there's a person that walked up to somebody and did that, and that was a great thing to do. And you know what? I've done it ever since. Okay? But again, you know what Dan's motives are? Yeah, you guys know what my motives are? I want to meet and date hot women. And all of them since my girlfriend passed, doctors, nurses, a lawyer, you know, business owners. Okay, it's fun, guys. It's great. But you know what? James Bond would do the same freaking thing, okay? So it's ridiculous, guys, but you have made him a man bun wearing woman, okay? So this is your fault. So Hollywood is dead. You guys want any good ideas? I can fix it, okay? It's so funny. When you write and you're a nothing writer like I was, I had to do shenanigans to get people to pay attention to my scripts and things like that, and had to trick people into meeting with me and things like that. Now that I do YouTube, I mean, I have an agent. My agent's like, "Hey, if you ever want to do that stuff, you want to talk about your talk show or pitch your movie ideas, I can get those meetings set up, and I know Ian can do that." So, you know, that's the last thing I need to worry about right now. But again, you guys have done this to yourself. You're going to lose money. The latest Leonardo DiCaprio movie is going to lose $100 million. Okay? And it's because of the subject matter in today's climate. Okay? Here it's fantastic. I won't see it. Okay? Won't pay for it. But have a nice day, guys. Okay? James Bond is dead. You killed him. Don't ever forget that. Quit being a little wuss and enjoy. Enjoy a guy who walks into a room and can talk to a woman and have a drink, and back in the day would smoke occasionally, which I am totally against and I don't do. But again, you know what I mean? It's on you, baby. It's on you. James Bond is dead. You killed him. Amazon killed James Bond. Don't ever forget that. Okay? You guys have any questions? Reach out. hello@iallegedly.com is my email address. And again, okay? R-rated comedies need to come back. You need to have fun. You need to have, you know, girls in bikinis. Oh my God, and baby Jesus, you can't do that, okay? You need to say the F word. You need to have guys talk like guys do and not be a bunch of women that are 30 years old that are in the shape of men that live with their mom, okay? Anyways, I could go on for an hour and a half, but I'm going to stop here. I hope somebody watched this. Let me know. hello@iallegedly.com. And remember, James Bond is dead and Amazon killed him, and you helped him do it, okay? Let's bring back a real James Bond.